Well, this is week 3, but we've got a little bit left from week 2, which we haven't covered as yet. And that's basically just to talk to you about some of the other commands that I know we did mass prop, but we didn't talk about data extraction, blocks and from blocks basically, and things like that. And there's another command called Xdata, so we'll talk about that as well. Split screens, we've done that already. Asymmetric reviews and view styles we'll be using all along anyway. And basic use of render. See how we go with that. What is it? Extract. Okay, so down here we're going to discuss about embedding and extracting information from ordinary line work, and probably talk to you about hyperlinking as well, which is not in there. And we've got a few other references here that you can check out as well. All right, so let's look at this thing here. I might just see if I can open up our slab or something like that. What is this one here? Let's have a look. Anything will do. Here's something we've been mucking around with recently. So I'll just go to view and just have one viewport rather than the two. That's a bit of a recap from last week. Had to split the screen, remember? 2 viewports. So, and of course you can set the visual style to be something different in each one of them. All right, so let's go back to 1. All right. So basically, in the past, those of you that have done the basic AutoCAD and that sort of thing, you might have seen the title block had information that you can fill in. So you can double click on the title block and you can input some information in it, like your your name and your project number and all that sort of stuff. Similarly, you can do the same thing with blocks, which you can add information into the block. Now that's called attributes, and that is the most basic form of I suppose BIM. You might think of it, building information modeling. All it is really, it's information that's embedded into the geometry. And of course, there's ways you can extract those as well out of the drawing. And one thing is to be able to count your blocks, of course, but that's not extracting the information out of it, and that's using Bcount and also data extraction command. But with the data extraction command, you not only count your blocks, you can also get information out of the attributes. Attributes are more like fields you can have into, well, there's also a command field which is different, but they're like fields in a database which you can have into your block, and then you can stipulate which fields you want to read out. For example, you might read out how many bolts do I have that are of M16 or something like that, and how many of M42 and different reinforcements you might have in there, or things like that. So and the same thing goes for doors and door types. You can build information as much as you like into your blocks, make them really clever. The thing is, it didn't really happen with AutoCAD all that often. So with Revit, yes, it happens more often because a lot of it gets into the drawing already built in, so you don't have to input that information as much. So, but AutoCAD did have the basic bones of that back then. AutoCAD changed many years ago from calling things entities to calling them objects, which is the beginning of being able to create new things rather than just lines and arcs. You're able to create other things and call them other names, like a wall, for example, and it'll come up as a wall. And those sort of things were taken advantage by software like mechanical desktop, architectural desktop, and those sort of things in the early days, which now it's called AutoCAD architecture, for example. So it will create a wall object rather than a line object. All right, so that was the history of it. Now let's have a look here. The other thing is, which is not mentioned in the little program, is that you can link anything to anything, really. So for example, like you do in Word or any other program or an email, you can do Control K and select something. So this slab here, for example, enter, and this takes a little while to think usually, but you'll be able to then assign a document to that, or an email to that, or a website or something like that. For example, if it was a product of some sort, or a door or something, you might assign the manufacturer to it, or if it was an air conditioning unit, you might assign the manual to it, or the website that this thing was created by. So not too different to the usual. So this is a web page, or you can assign it to a drafting view, where you can go to layout view when you click on that, and it does something. But email addresses, yeah. So I haven't really had much use for this in the past. I've used it a couple of times before, but yeah, not very often. But yeah, it is a good way of attaching information. So that's that one. Now the Xdata, that is under here you go. Attach Xdata. This is a little bit prehistoric in the way it works. That's why nobody's actually really using it, but it's there. I'm only just showing you so you can understand that, you know, a lot of this information is already there, even in AutoCAD, and it sort of links into the way BIM works. So you can, even in AutoCAD, you can attach information. The problem with it is that you can't extract it easily unless you have an add-on Lisp program that you write, or something like that, or .NET or something to actually extract it. But I can actually attach information onto this without having any attributes. Let's just do this one again. All right, so it goes into some sort of a DOS screen, and it says enter application name. We just give it anything. We just call it test. All right. So and then you can attach things like a three real number, DIR, whatever that is. There's integers, layers, long numbers, and real numbers, and whatever else, strings. So if we attach a string to it, bit of text, let's say something like 35 MPa concrete. Okay. So you write that there, enter, and enter to get out. And that's done. Nobody can see that. Nobody can even know it's there. If you hover over it, it's not like when I do if I did the hyperlink before, it will have a little hyperlink thing when I hover over it. This one here doesn't. So how do you get it out? Well, basically you have to go back to this command here and go list Xdata. The problem with that is you have to know which object the Xdata is in to click on first. That's one problem. The other problem is enter application name. Well, if you don't know it, I suppose if we go enter, it says star there, so hopefully it'll show us everything regarding that. But the idea is that you can actually attach a number of different data to this particular object, and each one can have a different application name. So test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for example, and then you can just extract the bit that you want. So it might be, for example, test doesn't make sense, but it might be concrete, for example, or it might be the other one might be Rio, manufacturer, manual. So you might have different applications and then information in that. So when I list that, what it comes up and says is a lot of let's just postpone that. Okay, what it will come up with is this, and basically it says a name is test, starting and ending brace, whatever that means. It's like programming. Really, all I want is this bit in the middle that says my ASCII string is 35 MPa concrete, and okay, so it just tells me how many bytes it's got left. So obviously, as you can't write a whole essay in it. It only gives you a certain amount of space. All right, so that's the Xdata and that sort of thing. If we just go back here, Bcount is a command you can use, and it counts all your blocks. Quite easy, just type that in. We don't have any blocks to count. Okay, so the other thing is the render we haven't actually touched on really, and it really won't work much here because you really need to assign materials to this thing here. It doesn't know it's concrete, even though we know it's slab. I haven't really assigned anything to it, so we didn't actually play with this last time. But let's I don't need render. We can just type in. I can't remember where it is. Don't actually use it often, but it's on here somewhere. It's probably under output or further embarrass myself. I'm not sure where it is. But I just type in render usually, and it just comes up. Except this didn't work. Render. Okay, try it. First of all, you have to attach materials, but we haven't attached anything here in this instance. But you just go through and do it as you see it really. If we had material on there, it would have come up with more grey-looking concrete, for example. It's something that we're going to do later on in Navisworks in more detail. We're going to render something, and the rendering engine in AutoCAD is the same as it is in Navisworks as it is in Revit. So it's the same way of doing it. Navisworks, it's lucky to have two render programs, and one of them is Autodesk One. We'll look at both of them there. All right, so I'll leave that there for now, and go on with something else in a minute.